Imagine the brightly colored, pixelated world of your absolute favorite jump-and-run video game plumber. You know, the sunny skies, the cheerful little clouds, the comforting sound of a coin pinging in the air.
Right, the classic safe environment we all grew up with.
Exactly. But now, take that exact world and plunge it into absolute metaphysical darkness. Score it with a haunting, apocalyptic Latin choir, and watch as his loyal brother suffers a complete, devastating psychological breakdown under the dizzying lights of a spinning disco ball.
It is quite the visual, honestly.
It really is. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We are so thrilled to have you with us today. If you are a fellow curious learner who loves to take a familiar concept, and completely dismantle it to see how the gears work, you are in the exact right place.
Oh, absolutely. And the gears on this one are fascinating.
Today, our mission is to explore a fascinating alternate universe theatrical masterpiece called Mario's Radiant Dawn, a Mushroom Kingdom disco epic.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a title that completely defies your expectations the moment you hear it.
Right.
Right. But as we dig into the material today, you're going to see it's actually incredibly deliberate.
It really is. So our sources today are a massive stack of transcripts, lyrics, and highly detailed stage directions from a YouTube channel called the Big Three Box Network. And we also have some incredible in-universe theater reviews from Parallel Dimensions, where this musical is basically a Broadway-level smash hit.
Which is just a brilliant framing device by the creator.
Totally. We're going to sift through all of this to understand what happens when you take the Mushroom Kingdom and inject it with Latin choirs, electro swing, and just a relentless dose of disco music.
And we really aren't just talking about a wacky internet meme here.
No, not at all.
Far from it, actually. When you actually analyze the text, the stage directions, and the musical composition cues provided in these transcripts, what emerges is a highly structured, profoundly deep narrative.
Oh, completely.
It's a psychological exploration of the crushing weight of being player two. It's an examination of the Jungian shadow self, the existential dread of side characters, and ultimately the redeeming power of radical empathy.
So we're asking you to keep an open mind here, because by the time we finish unpacking this, you will never look at a video game intermission or a green hat or even a simple 4/4 musical beat the same way again.
I can guarantee that.
Let's start right at the beginning, the opening scene, which is titled The Calm Before the Storm. The stage directions are incredibly vivid here.
They really paint a picture.
Yeah, we're looking at a backdrop of the Mushroom Kingdom, but it's at twilight. The sky is a deep blue, transitioning to night. Princess Toadstool's iconic castle stands in the background. But immediately, the text subverts our visual expectations.
How so?
Well, the kingdom is cast in this eerie shadow, and strange, dark tendrils are literally creeping along the edges of the stage.
Right, right. And the choice of twilight there is actually mathematically precise for setting the psychological tone.
Mathematically precise. What do you mean by that?
Well, twilight is a liminal space.
Yeah.
It's the boundary between the conscious active day, which represents order and safety, and the unconscious unpredictable night, which represents chaos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So by placing the typically sun-drenched Mushroom Kingdom in twilight, the creators are visually telling the audience that the world is on a precipice. The sun is literally setting on their innocence.
That is so cool. And the auditory landscape matches that perfectly, I think.
It does.
The music playing is this gentle melodic theme. Toads are going about their evening routines, chatting, completely oblivious. But then Princess Toadstool Peach stands on her balcony and sings this incredibly soft, foreboding melody.
A total shift in tone.
Yeah, she sings, "In the twilight's gentle embrace, our kingdom thrives with peace and grace. Yet in the shadows, whispers crawl, a lurking threat to end it all." It's so vulnerable.
It really is. And it establishes that she is the only one who senses the shift in the metaphysical atmosphere.
Right. She knows something is wrong.
Exactly. But that precipice she sings about gives way almost immediately. The scene shifts to a sequence called The Darkness Emerges.
Oh, yeah, this part is intense.
The stage darkens significantly, those physical dark tendrils grow, and we are introduced to the booming, echoing voice of the new villain, known simply as the Entity.
I want to talk about the Entity because this is where the musical takes its first massive swing away from the source material.
It really is a departure.
He isn't a giant turtle breathing fire. He isn't a rival king trying to kidnap the princess for territory.
Right.
Listen to his opening lines. "From the depths I rise, in shadows I reign, bringing forth malice and eternal pain. Mushroom Kingdom, your light I'll consume. In this world of darkness you'll meet your doom." I mean, he is an elemental force.
Yes, and that is a crucial distinction. A physical villain, like a giant turtle, represents a physical obstacle.
Right, you just jump on it.
Exactly, you can jump on it. You can throw a fireball at it. But a villain that threatens eternal pain and the consumption of literal light is an ontological threat.
An ontological threat? That sounds heavy.
It is. He threatens the very nature of existence. When you escalate the stakes to that level, the hero has to elevate to match the threat.
Yeah, you can't just have a guy in overalls jog onto the stage to fight an abstract concept of eternal malice.
Precisely. Which brings us to one of the most brilliant theatrical devices in the entire transcript.
Yeah.
The Mushroom Kingdom Choir.
Oh my gosh, yes. When Mario finally makes his entrance, the ominous, creepy tone is shattered by this triumphant, heroic theme.
It's so cinematic.
Spotlights hit the stage, Mario strikes a confident pose, and then an offstage choir starts singing in literal classical Latin.
Let's actually look at the mechanics of that. The text provides the Latin and the translation.
Go for it.
The choir sings, Lux solus reddit, tenebrae fugient, cum Mario advenit, victoria vigent. In regno fungorum amor triumphit, princeps toadstool, salvante faciemos.
Okay, my Latin is a little rusty.
No worries. It translates to, the light of the sun returns, the shadows will flee. When Mario arrives, victory flourishes. In the Mushroom Kingdom, love triumphs. Princess Toadstool, we will save you.
But why Latin? I mean, I read that and it sounds incredibly epic, but it's like taking a Sunday morning cartoon and suddenly scoring it with an intense, cinematic Hans Zimmer soundtrack.
It is a massive tonal shift, yeah.
Why do you think using an ancient dead language instantly makes a digital avatar feel like a mythical religious savior?
Yeah, it actually has to do with the acoustic properties of the language and our cultural conditioning.
Wait, really? The acoustics?
Yeah, Latin, specifically in choral arrangements, relies heavily on open vowel sounds, words like lux, solus, amor. These open vowels allow for maximum resonance in the human vocal tract.
Okay, I'm following.
That creates a massive, echoing wall of sound that physically vibrates in the listener's chest.
Oh, wow.
Culturally, we associate this specific type of polyphonic Latin chanting with the sacred, the ancient and the divine.
Right, like being in a massive cathedral.
Exactly. By scoring Mario's entrance with sacred acoustics, the musical bypasses our logical brain, which knows he's just a plumber, and speaks directly to our primal understanding of a mythical champion.
So they're literally using the science of acoustics to brainwash us into taking him seriously. I love it.
It's a very effective theatrical trick.
And Mario himself bridges that gap perfectly, I think. He starts singing right after the choir, and he says, I am Mario, and I'm here to save you.
Wait, from this darkness, from new villainy, who drowns himself in malice relentlessly.
The very bold declaration.
Yeah, and then he says, with my courage and my power-ups, I'll face the trials. I won't give up.
Notice the specific phrasing there, with my courage and my power-ups.
Yeah.
He doesn't say with my sword and shield. He acknowledges his specific reality, that he relies on magical mushrooms and fire flowers, but he treats them with the exact same dramatic sincerity as a knight swearing on his broadsword.
Right. He's owning his lore but elevating it. So the hero is established, the stakes are set, the music is sweeping and cinematic.
The stage is fully set. But once the hero is on the board, he has to actually go somewhere. And in this universe, the quest to save the world from this ancient ontological darkness is fueled by a very specific and frankly bizarre genre of music.
It really is an unexpected choice.
Mario and his dinosaur companion, Yoshi, set off on their journey to the Disco Palace.
Yes. They are riding through the vibrant donut plains, heading toward the entity's lair, which, by the way, is incredibly named the Coney Island Disco Palace.
Such a wild name. And the stage directions dictate that the music here is an upbeat mix of disco and Latin rhythms.
A fascinating fusion.
Okay, but I have to push back on this a little bit. We just established that the entity is an ancient consuming darkness and Mario is a sacred champion of light. Why disco?
I see where you're going with this.
Isn't disco inherently superficial? It feels like we just built up all this mythological gravity only to throw them into a roller rink from the 1970s.
Well, that superficiality is exactly the point. It's actually a deliberate, brilliant metaphor.
Really? How so?
Think about what a disco is. It is an entirely artificial environment. It is a room with no windows, lit by neon tubes, and a mirror ball that scatters synthetic light.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Yeah.
It is an environment designed for vanity, for looking at yourself and having others look at you. Yeah. If Mario represents the lux solus, the genuine, natural, life-giving light of the sun, then the entity's domain must be the ultimate perversion of light.
Oh, wow. A synthetic imitation of the sun. That is fascinating.
The Coney Island Disco Palace represents a cheap, synthetic, distracting imitation. It lures you in with flashing colors, but it provides no warmth.
That makes perfect sense. And the musical arrangement of their journey reflects that collision of worlds, too. The transcript tells us we have a disco beat layered with Latin choral chants.
Let's break down why that specific combination works so well to drive the narrative momentum.
Yeah, please do.
Disco is built on the floor beat. The bass drum hits on every single quarter note in a 4/4 time signature.
Right, that classic thump, 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 thump.
Exactly. It is a relentless, driving pulse that mimics a slightly elevated human heart rate, usually around 120 beats per minute. When you hear it, your central nervous system instinctively wants to align your motor functions with that pulse.
It literally forces you to move.
It creates an undeniable sense of forward motion, and then they layer the choir over it. The choir is chanting, "In via sumus, lumen sequimer."
Which means?
We are on the way, we follow the light.
Oh, man. So you have the biological imperative to move created by the disco beat, combined with the intellectual sacred gravity of the Latin chant.
Exactly. It creates a hero's march that is both spiritually weighty and incredibly funky.
I would listen to that on Spotify right now. And within that massive musical arrangement, you have the dynamic between Mario and Yoshi.
A very important dynamic.
Mario is singing these very earnest, heroic lines. Through the fields and over hills, onward, Yoshi, we chase the thrills. Near donut plains, our journey's bright, adventure calls, we ride with might.
Very focused, very driven.
But Yoshi's role in the song is completely different.
Musically speaking, if Mario and the 4/4 beat represent the steady, driving melody of the grand quest, Yoshi represents the syncopation.
Okay, explain how that works practically for the listener. What is Yoshi actually doing to the song?
Syncopation is a musical technique where you place emphasis or accents on the offbeats, the spaces between the main pulses. It disrupts the predictability of the rhythm and creates a sense of surprise and lightness. Yoshi's lyrics do exactly that to the narrative.
That makes sense.
While Mario is focused on the heavy burden of the quest, Yoshi sings on the offbeats. Yoshi, Yoshi, we're almost there. Through laughter and challenges we share. The Disco Palace awaits our cheer. With friends united, we have no fear.
He's entirely focused on the present moment, on the friendship. He's not worried about eternal darkness. He's just happy to be on a road trip with his buddy.
Precisely. Yoshi anchors the mythical quest back down to the ground. Without Yoshi's cheerful, syncopated interjections, the song would become too self-serious and collapse under its own weight.
So they are dancing their way toward destiny, perfectly balanced. But of course, a narrative this complex doesn't just stick to the main heroes.
No, it has to explore the margins.
Because while Mario and Yoshi are carrying the main plot, there are characters who have been left behind. Characters who didn't get an invite to the epic hero's journey. Which brings us to the theatrical intermission.
This is one of my favorite parts.
The song is titled Anticlimactic Antics. It features the characters Wario, Waluigi, and a completely original creation for this universe named Wapeach.
Wapeach. Just incredible.
And the stage directions describe it as pure vaudeville, with a lighthearted tone and heavy fourth wall breaks.
And on the surface, it reads like pure comic relief. But when you really look at the lyrics, it is exploring this incredibly dark, Beckett-esque existential dread.
Right. Let's unpack what we mean by Beckett-esque for a second.
Samuel Beckett was a playwright most famous for Waiting for Godot, a play where two characters wait endlessly on a barren stage for someone who never arrives.
Just waiting.
Yes. They pass the time with pointless dialogue and physical comedy to stave off the crushing realization that their existence has no inherent plot. The intermission in this musical functions exactly like that.
That makes Wapeach's opening line so much more devastating. She sings, "Here we are, stuck in the middle, an intermission song, what a riddle. Not in the franchise, not at all. Just a filler tune before the curtain call. Some prize. I guess that's my role. A character with no control."
The character with no control. That is the defining agony of a side character.
It really is.
In a programmed video game or a scripted musical, agency is an illusion. Mario has a purpose. His code dictates he must reach the castle.
Right, he has an end goal.
But Wario, Waluigi, and Wapeach are acutely aware of their lack of programming. They exist in a liminal space, the intermission. They literally have no plot.
Waluigi leans right into it. He sings, "Yeah, we're the stars of this little act, anticlimactic, but that's a fact. No main roles, no grand debut, but we steal the show. It's what we do." They even refer to themselves as intermission ghosts.
It's haunting, in a way.
Well, Peach laments, I could have been a princess with a crown so bright, but here I am, just passing the night.
It is a profound meta-commentary on the nature of storytelling and hierarchy. Who decides who gets to be the hero?
Such a good question.
Who dictates that some people are destined for epic battles in the Disco Palace, while others are condemned to juggle props in front of a closed curtain to keep the audience from getting bored while the set changes?
But they don't let it destroy them. That's the beauty of it. They sing, we may be sidelined, but we're not alone. In this wacky world, we've made our own. Let's embrace it, our quirky fate. We're the comic stars. It's not too late.
They are employing humor as a psychological defense mechanism.
Yeah.
By owning their marginalization, by proudly declaring themselves the kings and queens of the filler tune, they reclaim a tiny bit of agency. They can't control the fact that they are in an intermission, but they can control how entertaining that intermission is.
It's a deeply relatable human experience, honestly. We've all felt like that. You look around and it seems like everyone else is the main character of their own glamorous narrative, getting promotions, going on grand adventures, and you're just waiting in the lobby.
Waiting in the lobby.
You're just doing the clerical work so the main plot can function. The Misfits teach us that if you're stuck in the lobby, you might as well put on a tap dance and make the lobby yours.
It is a remarkably healthy way to process the cognitive dissonance of lacking agency.
But, unfortunately, not everyone in this musical possesses that level of emotional maturity.
No, it did not.
While the Misfits laugh off their sideline fate, there is another character who is completely unable to cope with being player two. And this is where the narrative shifts from an adventure story into a full-blown psychological thriller.
We transition away from the intermission and enter the neon-drenched interior of the entity's domain. The scene is the entity's disco inferno, and we finally witness the psychological manipulation of Luigi.
The staging here is wild. Surreal neon lights, a massive shimmering disco ball casting fragmented light everywhere.
Very disorienting.
Very. And the entity is described as having a playful yet menacing demeanor. He is pacing the stage, backed by shadowy dancers moving in perfectly synced, sharp choreography. And Luigi is watching from the side, isolated, confused, and angry.
The entity does not attack Luigi physically. He recognizes that Luigi is already psychologically compromised.
Right. He goes for the mind.
The entity sings directly to him. Welcome to my palace, where the darkness meets the light, a place of funky madness, where I reign supreme tonight. Oh, Luigi, dear Luigi, you're looking so confused. But trust me, in this disco, you'll never be refused.
I'll tempt you with my power. I'll lure you with my charm. In this dance of shadows, I'll bring you no harm. It is such a predatory tactic.
Highly predatory.
He is identifying Luigi's deepest insecurity, the fear of being ignored, of being refused, and offering him the antidote. He offers him the spotlight.
This is where we must talk deeply about Carl Jung's concept of the persona and the shadow.
Oh yeah, let's get into the Jungian psychology here.
In Jungian psychology, the persona is the mask we wear to interact with society. It's the traits we adopt to be accepted. Luigi's persona is the loyal brother. He is helpful, he is deferential, he is a team player.
The classic player, too.
Exactly. But humans are complex. We all have selfish desires, ambitions, and pride. Because those traits conflict with Luigi's persona as the humble sidekick, his psyche pushes them down into the unconscious. That repressed collection of desires is the shadow.
And the more you repress it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. The shadow doesn't vanish just because you ignore it. It ferments. It becomes resentful. The entity isn't injecting Luigi with some magical evil poison. The entity is simply acting as a therapist from hell.
A therapist from hell. I love that.
He is validating Luigi's shadow. The entity says, I've got the rhythm, I've got the style. You think you can escape me. You think you've got a chance. But in this disco inferno, you're caught within my trance. He is inviting Luigi to stop repressing his desire for individual glory.
And honestly, I have to defend Luigi here.
Really? Defend him?
Yeah, I think he is entirely justified in his anger. Think about the cognitive dissonance of his existence. He goes on the exact same terrifying adventures as Mario. He jumps over the same lava, fights the same monsters, risks his life in the exact same way.
That is factually true, yes.
But at the end of the day, the kingdom throws a parade for Mario, and Luigi is expected to stand on the sidelines and clap. He is actively asked to celebrate the person who is eclipsing him. That kind of emotional labor is fundamentally traumatic.
You are hitting on the exact mechanism of the tragedy. Luigi's desire isn't inherently malevolent. He wants equity. He wants recognition for his labor.
Exactly.
He sings his response in Luigi's song Temptation's Whisper. He sings, in the shadow of my brother I've always been, but now it's time for me to rise and win. I'll be a hero in my own right. With courage in my heart, I'll face the night.
See? With courage in my heart, he thinks he's doing a good thing. He thinks he is just stepping up to be a hero. He sings, "No more living in the background, I'll make my own stand."
But the danger lies in the medium he chooses for that self-actualization. Remember our discussion about the disco environment?
Right, the vanity.
Yes. Disco is the genre of individual vanity. By accepting the entity's offer, Luigi isn't just seeking equity, he's seeking to dominate the dance floor. The entity whispers, "Join me, Luigi, leave the light. No more second place, no more fear. In my realm, your path is clear."
And Luigi rationalizes it completely. He sings, "I'll embrace this power, this dark might. To save my kingdom, I'll face the night. No longer just the brother, but a hero true. In the shadows, I'll find my due." He's convinced himself that he can wield the darkness without being consumed by it. He thinks he's just picking up a new power-up.
But the creators of the musical use the Latin choir to reveal the objective truth to the audience.
Ah, the choir's back.
Yes. While Luigi is justifying his choice, the choir chants faintly in the background. Tenebris induced lumen deficit, Luigi ascended, Roma decedent.
And that translates to?
Darkness leads, light recedes. Luigi rises, a hero ceases to be.
A hero ceases to be? That gives me chills. It's a total inversion of his identity.
Completely inverted.
And that simmering, rationalized jealousy doesn't stay quiet for long. It leads directly into the most violent, shocking sequence in the entire transcript. The sequence titled, "The Breaking Point."
Yes.
Yeah.
The song is titled brutally and simply, "I Hate You, Mario."
So blunt.
And the psychological breakdown is reflected not just in the narrative, but in the actual mechanics of the lyrical composition.
The stage directions are so visceral here. The stage is dimly lit. Luigi is center stage, clutching a dark, glowing artifact he received from the entity. And projected behind him, massive and distorted, are images of Mario's past victories.
Adding insult to injury.
Mario holding up a star, Mario being kissed by Peach, Mario waving to a crowd, and the entity's whispers are echoing over the speakers.
Luigi begins the song softly, recounting his trauma. He sings, "I've always been the second, in your shadow, small and slight. You've always had the spotlight while I stood out of sight. You never knew the anger, the jealousy I hide, but now it's boiling over, can't keep it all inside."
It still has that poetic meter, that AABB rhyme scheme we've heard throughout the show. Slight, sight, hide, inside. He's still holding onto a shred of his composed persona.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as the dark energy pulses, that poetic structure completely collapses.
Right.
When we reach the chorus, the meter shifts from melodic storytelling to blunt force trauma. He sings, I hate you for always being first. I hate you, this rage, it feels like a curse. I hate you, for every time you won. I hate you, now it's time I see the sun."
The repetition of "I hate you" is so striking. It lacks any of the elegant metaphor we've seen in the rest of the text. It's a rhythmic striking. It's the sound of someone completely losing their grip.
When trauma and repressed emotion finally break the dam of the conscious mind, they do not express themselves in poetry. They express themselves in raw, repetitive bursts of primal feeling.
Yeah.
The lyrical structure demonstrates that Luigi's ego has shattered. The shadow has completely taken the wheel.
And the visual staging amplifies that collapse. The lighting shifts to a menacing deep red. The projections of Mario's face flash faster, twisting the knife. Luigi paces the stage like a caged animal. He sings, "You saved the princess again and again, while I was left forgotten, just your loyal friend. I smiled and I cheered, played my humble part. But inside my chest there grew a broken heart."
That couplet is the thesis statement of the sidekick's tragedy.
It really is.
I smiled and I cheered, played my humble part. But inside my chest, there grew a broken heart. It is the ultimate confession of the cognitive dissonance we discussed earlier. He has spent years performing joy while privately experiencing profound grief and inadequacy.
It's so uncomfortable to read because it's so honest.
Very honest.
Think about the darkest, most envious, most resentful thought you have ever had about someone you love. A thought so ugly you immediately buried it because it made you feel like a monster.
We all have them.
Luigi is taking that exact thought, amplifying it through a dark artifact, and screaming it into a microphone. He sings, "I've dreamed of this moment where I'd finally stand tall. No more second fiddle, no more feeling small. For the first time ever, I am more than just Luigi."
And as the song peaks, he completely severs the psychic tie to his brother. He belts out, "No more will I follow, no more will I obey. With this newfound power I'll make you pay. I've held back for too long my feelings in the dark, but now the fire is raging, ready to leave its mark. I hate you, now I'm free at last.
Wow.
The stage completely fades to black, leaving only Luigi swirling in a vortex of dark energy.
The raw, pent-up passion in that scene it's overwhelming. The entire musical up to this point has been meticulously building this tension. It's all about what people are hiding behind their polite public personas.
Yes.
And when it finally erupts, the sheer force of it demands your attention. But Luigi isn't the only character in this story who's been repressing their true feelings.
No, he certainly is not. The narrative pivots brilliantly to show us another form of repression, one that is entirely different from Luigi's destructive envy, but no less powerful.
Right.
We must shift our focus to the center of the Coney Island Disco Palace, where Princess Peach is trapped in a glowing, ornate cage. This brings us to her incredible power ballad, Leap of the Heart.
Oh, this song. The tonal shift here is incredible. It starts with a very soft, solitary piano melody. Just a few minor key chords ringing out in the silence after Luigi's chaotic breakdown.
A total contrast.
Peach is inside this cage, and she's reflecting on her entire history of being rescued. She sings, "In the quiet moments I see your face. You've rescued me from every place. Through kingdoms far and wide, you've always been there by my side."
The physical staging of the glowing cage is doing heavy metaphorical lifting here. Obviously, it is a literal barrier created by the entity, but structurally, within the narrative of her character, the cage represents the polite societal expectations that have confined her. As a princess, she is an archetype of passive virtue. She is expected to be demure, grateful, and composed.
Always compose.
Yes. She is allowed to give Mario a polite, chaste kiss on the cheek as a reward, but nothing more.
And she is explicitly aware of that dynamic, and she is sick of it. She sings about her own past hesitations. At the end of our last great quest, you stood by me, you gave your best. A chance to choose, my heart did skip, but I faltered, missed your lips.
She is acknowledging her lack of agency, but unlike the intermission characters who laughed it off, she is actively deciding to change it.
Yeah, she's taking control.
The musical arrangement shifts dramatically at this point.
Oh.
The solitary piano is joined by a swelling string section, building momentum. She is resolving to break out of her internal emotional cage, mirroring her impending rescue from the physical one. She sings, "A kiss on the cheek, a simple start, but this time I'll take the leap of the heart."
She completely rejects the archetype of the passive princess. The lyrics describe this massive buildup of romantic tension that she has been denying for years.
It's years of repression.
Every time you save the day, I meant to kiss you in a different way. A big smooch on your lips, I can do it this time. No more holding back, no more fears to climb.
It is the absolute rejection of holding back. The language she uses is fascinating. She shifts from the polite vocabulary of a royal to something deeply visceral.
Yes, she sings, "So here I stand within this cage, my love for you, a burning sage. A burning sage." That is such an evocative, specific metaphor.
Very specific.
Sage is used to purify, to burn away negativity. It's intense, it's hot, it consumes everything around it. She is dropping all her guards. A kiss on the lips, my love to share, no more doubt, I'll meet you there.
It's powerful.
When you really read these lyrics, when you look at the mechanics of what she's promising,
The text practically vibrates with the intent of it. It demands an utter surrender to raw, unmediated feeling. The tension is, well, it is incredibly palpable, yes.
Yeah. It really is. It's so infectious when you read characters finally completely dropping the act. It makes you realize how much energy we all spend just holding ourselves back from what we actually want to do.
We expend a tremendous amount of psychic energy maintaining our boundaries, yes. When she sings, "No more fear, just love so bright," you can feel the absolute release of all that built-up, desperate longing. It's a total collapse of restraint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just a complete, undeniable release. No more holding back.
Not at all. Just completely surrendering to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the right here.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, wow. Phew. I mean...
The sociological implications of the sage metaphor are clearly quite potent.
Right. Yes. Very potent.
Yeah.
Potent metaphor. And that energy, that unbridled, electrifying release of tension is exactly what Peach is promising Mario.
Precisely. The resolve she demonstrates is narratively necessary.
Definitely necessary.
By promising to break her physical and emotional cage, she is calibrating her emotional stakes to match the impending metaphysical conflict. It is a necessary structural pivot.
Flawlessly pivoted. Yes. Okay. So moving on.
Yeah.
With Peach ready to shatter her cage and unleash all of that pent-up love, The stage is completely set for the ultimate collision.
It is.
We have love, we have deep-seated jealousy, and we have disco. Let's look at the resolution. Brother versus brother, and the final electro swing showdown.
Yes, so the finale is structured in two distinct monumental parts.
Right.
First, we have the heartbreaking confrontation. Mario and Yoshi finally arrive at the Coney Island Disco Palace. The visual chaos of the stage is at its peak. The disco ball is spinning, throwing synthetic light everywhere. And Mario sees Luigi fully charged with the entity's dark, swirling energy.
And this is the moment of truth. The entity has taught Luigi that power comes from anger, from dominating your opponent, from forcing your way into the spotlight.
Which is exactly what we expect from a villain.
Exactly. So how does Mario react? If this were a standard video game, he would throw a fireball. But this is a psychological narrative. The song Brother versus Brother starts, and Mario deploys the most powerful weapon he has.
Radical empathy.
Radical empathy.
It is a stunning subversion of the boss fight trope.
It totally is.
The entity operates on isolation and vanity. If Mario fights Luigi with aggression, he validates the entity's premise that dominance is the only currency.
Yeah.
So Mario refuses to engage on those terms.
He steps back.
He reaches past the shadow and speaks directly to the persona. He sings, "Bro, this isn't like you, this darkness in your eyes, what happened to the brother who always stood by my side. You've always been my partner, through thick and through thin, but now this evil power, it's changing you within."
He doesn't attack the darkness, he appeals to their shared history.
Yes.
But Luigi is still caught in the cognitive dissonance. He sings defiantly, "This is exactly what I want to be, no longer in your shade. I've lived in your shadow, always number two, but now the tables have turned, it's time you see it too."
He is testing Mario. He is demanding to be seen.
And Mario gives him exactly what he needs. Mario sings, "I know the real you deep inside your heart. Remember all our adventures, the battles that we've won. We've always been together like the moon and the sun."
Like the moon and the sun. That is such a beautiful piece of lyricism.
Isn't it?
It validates that they are different. Mario is the bright, active day. Luigi is the quieter, reflective night. But that they are both equally necessary for a complete world.
And then Peach, still trapped in her cage but no longer passive, joins the vocal arrangement. She sings, "Luigi, you're stronger than this. Don't let it take your soul. We believe in you, Luigi. Come back to the light. You're a hero too. You've always fought the fight."
This barrage of unconditional validation completely short-circuits the entity's magic.
It's amazing.
The entity's entire mechanism of control relied on Luigi feeling unloved, unseen, and underappreciated. By seeing him, by explicitly calling him a hero, Mario and Peach strip the entity of its leverage.
The psychological hold breaks. Luigi sings, "I can feel the darkness trying to take control, but with your words, Mario, I feel a brighter glow."
The turning point.
The stage directions indicate that the dark energy dissipates, replaced by a warm golden light. Luigi renounces the dark artifact. "I renounce this darkness. I won't be its slave. With my brother by my side, I'll be strong and brave."
They embrace.
They embrace. And with the internal psychological conflict resolved, they can finally face the external threat.
The three of them turn their attention to the entity. And this is where the musical arrangement absolutely explodes.
Oh, yes.
We enter the final showdown. And the stage directions dictate that the music shifts into a driving electro swing beat, blending with epic disco elements.
This specific genre choice is a masterclass in musical storytelling.
We really need to talk about the mechanics of electro swing to understand why it is the perfect genre for a final battle.
Please do, because it's such a specific, quirky sound. Why electro swing instead of just, generic action movie orchestral music?
Well, think about how electro swing is constructed. It is a genre that literally samples the acoustic, brass-heavy, old-world charm of 1920s jazz and swing, and then forces it onto a rigid, modern electronic 4/4 grid.
Okay.
In the context of our narrative, the acoustic jazz elements represent Mario and Luigi's classic legacy, their history as straightforward, pure-hearted heroes from an older era of gaming. The modern, synthetic electronic beats represent the entity's domain, the artificial disco palace.
Oh, that is brilliant.
By fighting to an electro swing track, Mario and Luigi are literally synthesizing their core identities with the villain's territory. They are not retreating from the disco, they are conquering it by bringing their own acoustic swing into it. It is an auditory representation of integration.
They are beating him at his own funky game.
Exactly.
Mario and Luigi perform these acrobatic moves in sync with the electro swing beat. Mario sings, "Luigi, by my side, we'll take this fiend down. The darkness won't win, we'll fight to the end."
And Luigi chimes in.
Yes, his voice completely clear now. Brother, I'm with you. Together we stand. We'll banish this evil, reclaim our land.
The entity realizes he has lost his psychological advantage, and he lashes out frantically. He sings, "You think you can stop me? I'll twist and I'll turn. I'll bring you to your knees."
But the musical arrangement completely drowns him out. The Latin choir returns, but this time the stage directions say the chant is sung by the formerly shadowy dancers who are now bathed in light.
The ultimate redemption arc for the backup dancers.
Right, and the chant they sing is the culmination of everything. Pugna noctis, lux audax, in tenebris, victoria.
Battle of the night, bold light. In the darkness, victory.
Mario and Luigi launch a coordinated attack, singing in perfect harmony. With the power of light, we've banished the night, our bond unbroken, our hearts shining bright. In this epic disco, we stand as one.
The visual finale is spectacular. The disco ball, previously a symbol of synthetic vanity, is purified. It becomes a beacon of genuine light.
The entity is vanquished, dissolving into nothing, and the golden glow of a literal radiant dawn breaks over the stage.
Which leads us directly into the epilogue, Mario's Radiant Dawn reprise. The dawn is broken, the darkness is gone. Mario turns to Luigi in front of everyone and sings, "We face the dark. You found your way, Luigi, my hero, in the light of day."
He publicly crowns his brother a hero, ensuring the shadow never has a reason to return.
And then the final narrative thread is resolved. He turns to Peach, he sings, "Peach, my dear, through trials and fears, your love's been my beacon through all these years."
And Peach finally makes good on the promise she made in her cage. She sings, "With a kiss so deep, our hearts will soar in this radiant dawn forevermore."
A beautiful resolution.
The stage directions are beautifully simple. As the music swells, Peach kisses Mario deeply, sealing their love. The light floods the stage completely, washing out the remaining neon, and the curtain falls.
Wow.
Phew. The sheer magnificent scope of what we have just uncovered in these transcripts is astounding. We took a familiar, simplistic world of plumbers and dinosaurs, and we found a soaring theatrical treatise on shadow psychology, the agony of lacking agency, and the acoustic power of Latin chanting.
It is a genuine masterpiece.
It really is, which makes you wonder, how on earth did the public react to this?
Fortunately, the sources from the Big Three Box Network provide us with context. They include reviews from another universe, giving us a glimpse into the critical reception of this musical in a parallel dimension.
I have to know what the theater critics thought of the Coney Island Disco Palace. Please read them.
Let's look at the Mushroom Kingdom Times first. They write, "A sensational blend of action, humor, and heart. Mario's Radiant Dawn. The musical is a must-see for fans and newcomers alike. The musical numbers are as catchy as they are moving, and the final showdown is nothing short of spectacular."
A glowing 5-star review. Standard praise. But what about the more analytical critics?
That brings us to the Toadtown Tribune. Their review actually validates the entire deep dive we've conducted today.
Really? What do they say?
They write, "From start to finish, this musical is a visual and auditory feast. The character development, especially Luigi's journey, adds a depth that resonates with audiences. An unforgettable experience that brings the Mushroom Kingdom to life in the most dazzling way."
Luigi's journey adds a depth that resonates. They saw it too. The critical apparatus in this alternate universe recognizes that the emotional core of this massive production isn't the final boss fight, it's the cognitive dissonance of being player two.
Yes.
It is the integration of the shadow self.
Exactly. The spectacle is just the delivery mechanism for the psychology.
I love that.
And finally, Koopa Weekly provides this fascinating piece of insight. Who knew Mario and disco could mix so well? Mario's Radiant Dawn strikes the perfect balance between comedy and drama, with standout performances from Bowser and Peach. The Latin-infused choruses add a unique and epic touch to the already brilliant score.
Wait, hold up. Stand-up performances from Bowser. We didn't even cover Bowser in our deep dive today.
We didn't because his lyrics were largely absent from the main narrative transcript.
Oh, okay.
But the alternate universe lore provided in our sources mentions a song titled Bowser's Anthem, Bowser Rocks. It is described as a humorous yet powerful rock song where Bowser hypes himself up, deeply offended that a new villain is trying to take over his territory, and he determines to take down the entity without Mario's help.
The sheer world building of that is staggering. Bowser getting an arrogant heavy metal hype anthem because his ego is bruised by the entity moving in on his turf. It's brilliant.
It really is.
It shows the incredible flexibility of these modern digital myths. You can stretch these characters into a psychological thriller, a vaudeville comedy, or a disco opera, and their core archetypes still hold up.
It is a testament to the power of narrative reinterpretation.
Totally.
Mario's Radiant Dawn takes the simplest of binaries, player 1 versus player 2, light versus dark, and refuses to accept them at face value. It forces us to look at the cognitive dissonance required to be a sidekick. It warns us about the dangers of repressing our natural ambitions and how that repression can be weaponized by the synthetic, artificial allure of a metaphorical disco inferno. And ultimately, it proves that the only way to defeat the darkness isn't with a bigger weapon, but with radical empathy and unconditional validation.
And so, bringing this all back to you, the listener, the next time you feel like you are stuck in the background, like you are just the intermission ghost in someone else's grand play, remember the lessons we've learned today.
Absolutely.
If you lack agency, put on a show and claim the lobby as your own. But more importantly, if you feel the resentment of being player 2 brewing inside you, do not repress it until it becomes a shadow. Acknowledge your ambition before an entity uses it against you.
And I will leave you with this final provocative thought to mull over.
Go on.
We all live in a world full of shiny, seductive disco infernos environments designed to exploit our vanity and promise us easy power and cheap synthetic validation. In the face of all that neon, what does your genuine Radiant Dawn look like? And, perhaps more importantly, who are you making sure is standing beside you, fully seen and fully valued, when the sun finally comes up?
A beautiful question to leave with. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredibly deep, unexpectedly passionate dive into the murky, magnificent waters of the Mushroom Kingdom's greatest unseen musical. Keep exploring those alternate universes, keep questioning the narrative structures around you, and we'll see you next time.